Everett West, and I'm going to teach you how to change your oil on a Kawasaki 636 Ninja motorcycle. The first step is to ensure you have all the supplies needed to accomplish the job. For changing your oil, you will need oil filter. Here I have 4 quarts of Kawasaki 10W40 manufacturer spec oil along with a Kawasaki oil filter. If you are not sure which oil to use, refer to your owner's manual or your local motorcycle shop for assistance. Next, I have an oil catch pan where you can buy these at Walmart relatively cheap. I have 2 rags, one to catch oil and the other to wipe down lubricated parts. The other rag is a microfiber towel because it's lint-free and good to use on all automobiles. Next, I have a basic toolkit with standard tools such as sockets, extensions, ratchets, and screwdrivers. Lastly, a glove because at some point materials around the engine exhaust may become hot. Next step is to start your engine until your engine is at normal operating temperature. This will help the oil come out of the motor without leaving too much oil in the engine. After your engine is warm, turn off the motor and remove the key. If you have just finished riding your motorcycle, the areas around the engine will be extremely hot. This may cause serious burns or damage to equipment and parts if you do not allow proper cool down time. The next step is to identify any parts that need to be removed so you may gain access to the oil plug and filter. On this particular model, the oil filter is located slightly above the engine in the rear. Remove all the screws that may be holding the lower fairing onto the motorcycle. It is important to keep track of your hardware. You will need to reuse it. I suggest a metallic pan or small box that contrasts in the color so the screws do not get misplaced. Remember, you will need to reuse these hardware. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you remove it properly, you will have one solid piece in your hand without breaking any clips or nut plates in the process. The removal of the lower fairing allows access to the engine compartment and clearance to the drain, oil plug, or oil nut. Beware of the exhaust manifold. It may be hot. This is your oil plug. Grab the proper size socket to help facilitate removal of the part. A ratchet or a wrench can be used, but you should avoid using pliers. They will wear out the splines on the oil drain plug, causing unwanted damage and possible replacement of the part. Put your socket onto the ratchet, place it onto the oil drain plug. Turn to the left or from this angle upwards or counterclockwise if that helps. There should be slight torque on the bolt, but not extreme. Once the drain plug is loose, slide the oil catch pan under the plug and continue to remove the drain plug. Once it is removed, oil will immediately begin to flow. Once again, be careful. If you have just ridden the motorcycle, the oil may be hot. This is your oil drain plug. It should have a washer attached to it. If the washer did not come off, check around the opening of the engine oil pan. This part will be needed for proper torque and to help ensure it does not leak. When the oil is finished draining, place the drain plug with washer into the hole, turning clockwise, this time to the right. Put your socket back on the drain plug and tighten to manufacturer's torque specifications. If you are not aware, then torque until very tight or snug. Next, you may need a tool to assist you in the removal of the oil filter. Sometimes you can remove them by hand, and others you will need a filter wrench or channel locks. I chose channel locks because that's the tool I have. Turn your oil filter to the left and continue to unscrew. Keep your oil filter pan just under the location where the filter sits because oil will come out. This is what it will look like when the oil filter is removed. Ensure the gasket from the old oil filter did not stick around the filter mount. This will cause a leak if it is stuck to it. The area around the oil filter is the seal or gasket. Before installing the oil filter, take a very small amount of old oil in the catch pan and lubricate around the seal or gasket. This will aid in proper sealing and oil filter removal in the future. Now install the oil filter by hand tightening it, turning clockwise to the right. I do not install with a tool, but you may need to if you feel like it's not tight enough. Next, remove your oil cap located on the right side of your motorcycle. Remove the cap from your oil and pour into the opening. To prevent spills, you may use a funnel. After all 4 quarts have been poured in, reinstall your cap. Check your sight gauge to ensure it is filled and no more oil is needed. Then you will need to start your engine, allow your bike to reach operating temperature, and check for leaks around the oil drain plug and filter. This is a good time to wipe down the oil that may have trickled onto your bike so you can ensure you have a nice fit and no leaks. If all leak checks are good, be sure to reinstall your lower fairing using the same original hardware. Once again, be careful around the exhaust manifold, it may be hot. And lastly, once everything is installed, take your bike out to ensure it runs smoothly and correctly. I hope this video was helpful in doing your own DIY with your motorcycle. This takes very basic mechanical skills and is a great way to get to know your motorcycle. Thank you for listening, and if you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to contact me.